Oh, man. Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hot Take. Today, we are in my buddy Steven's E46 M3 track car. Say hi to the camera, Steven.
Hello, how's it going? My name is Steven, of course.
This car is not stock. Steven, give us kind of a brief rundown of the mod list.
Sure. So mostly track focused here, a lot of suspension, brakes, that kind of thing. Powertrain is mostly stock, so just Eventuri intake. Headers, full exhaust, FI Valvetronic, so it's pretty loud. Buildjournal B-spec tune. I have a CSL SMG tune, so good bit of difference there. Otherwise, ground control coilovers, a StopTech ST60 kit in the front with Hawk HP Plus pads all the way around. A lot of preventative maintenance has been big with this car, so rod bearings, subframe, all that good stuff.
So all the E46 M3 stuff, this car is, it's a big car. It's got a lot of the things you'd want to do in an E46 M3 if you were going to track it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on the road. I'm dying to hear this intake and this exhaust setup. Oh man. Oh, the sound of this thing. Oh my god, the airbox, it's so like
It's got that resonance.
that is such a nice sound. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, that was one thing I want to hit on. These motors are so like, this was the last of the race car motor for the street. It really was. You get that. Oh, I love that. And we'll talk about the SMG later. But this, you said this has the CSL computer, right?
Correct, yep. So CSL tune from Buildjournal, so it's all been done. It's basically just the exact program that came from the CSL, which adds auto rev matching. It has like what they call the inertia update, so it just kind of changes the way it behaves between shifts. But, yeah.
The ride quality is honestly not awful. Going over these bumps, it's definitely, you're lacking that like stock car feel, but it's like, wow,
it's doable.
That's responsive. I'm now really excited to hit some turns, but there is some up here. It's not as mechanical as say the E36 chassis, because this car, I mean, you have electric throttle, which definitely, the pedal is a lot lighter than the E36 pedal, and the pedal's kind of, I don't know.
We can give you sport mode.
Yeah. Whoa. Wow. This is. Okay, the throttle response. What does sport mode do on these?
Just increase the throttle response.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Words cannot describe the feeling that I'm like feeling right now. It's raw, especially the steering is tight, it's heavy, it wants you to grab it and just pull it.
I guess I didn't mention this is a competition package, so that's the CSL steering rack.
Oh,
Yeah,
did not mention that.
Yeah, it's not the regular M3 rack. And I had a regular M3, massive difference. That is the best part of a competition. The steering rack is so much better.
Wow. Oh man, yeah, it's just the power band is wide.
Yeah, it is. It just, you rev and rev. It's so fun, like having so many revs to play with.
Yeah, you get, I mean, in my E36, I'm used to sitting at like 4, and that's
Sure.
where most cars like to sit, kind of between 3 and 4. But this, it really likes to sing in that 4 to 5 range.
It does. It really, this motor loves to rev. It doesn't like below 3,000. Like even around town, it feels really sluggish. You gotta
Yeah,
rev it. You really
and honestly, yeah, you gotta rev it out a ton.
Mhm.
What tires are we on?
Michelin PS4S right now.
These, the way you have this car set up. Oh man, and even, is this factory motor mounts?
Yes.
Cause it's immediate, like you hit the pedal and it's,
Yeah. Yeah, they're all fresh, but they're all OE motor
Right.
trans mounts, so.
okay. And it's funny, that's what does that pause.
Yep. Yeah, so we're in mode 4 for the SMG, which is the one I like best, because once you do 5
really
this
good
car
that.
can take it, but you're not really getting more out of it.
Yeah, you're just, yeah. No, that makes sense. Wow. The downshifts are... This car is something, and I was just trying to say earlier, the way you have this aligned, the tires...
Yeah, the turn-in, the front-end grip, the mechanical grip, the front end is insane. The alignment, the square setup wheels.
And the... What was that? Is that like a clutch slip, or...?
Sometimes it'll do that.
That's just an SMG thing?
It's just an SMG thing.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, man. This airbox, we'll listen to some exhaust clips later, but this airbox is really something.
Yeah. It's fun having the valved exhaust, because like on the street, I'll mostly listen to the airbox, but then on track, having the loud exhaust is really nice with the helmet on.
Yeah.
The car at high speed.
This is better than I expected. Honestly, like, I understand the generational gap from E36 to E46. People are like, it's more than a one generation leap. I get it now. This totally is. Now maybe the Euro E36 is a little different, but the S54, it's mean. It wants you to.
Yeah. No, it's there's a motorsport feel to this powertrain.
Very motorsport feel.
There's a lot of new powertrains where they're in sports cars and they're very powerful, but they don't necessarily feel like they love being thrashed. This motor, the more you beat on it, the better it is.
Oh man. Oh my god. That is the S54 sound we all love.
Yep.
It's funny coming out of there, I got a little bit of wheel hop.
Yep.
Oh. Oh yeah, brakes are nuts on this thing.
Yeah.
Wow. This car gets you into trouble. You can't get into this much trouble on my car.
It will.
The intake sound on this is glorious. And the suspension, so you went with ground control. Why did you go with ground control?
So when you start doing research, basically I went with a mostly affordable track setup that's pretty proven. When you look at like KW and stuff, which I guess is a similar price, it's a lot less track oriented. So you're gonna have like progressive rate springs instead of fixed rate springs, which is a big one for front wheel fitment. If you're trying to do a square setup and you need to clear the front springs, and you can't really do that with progressive rate.
Right.
They're just tried and true good fitment for BMW, but a reasonable price versus something like if you go MCS, JRZ. I mean, they'll start getting $4 to $5 grand range.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, this car isn't that serious yet. Maybe someday.
Yeah, but you said you had plans for sunroof delete and.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's at this point 200 treadwear tires and better brake pads, that kind of thing. But
right.
That's all in due time.
All in due time.
Yeah.
And the pads are really. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, they're good. With the amount of squeal, I don't think they hold up as well as like if you went for a PFC 08 or 11 or even.
Right.
But I mean, they're at least streetable. They have a torque curve on them. At least they're usable in colder temperatures. But
right. Yeah.
Definitely more aggressive.
Honestly, this car's just well rounded. The tires too. This is a good.
Yeah.
How much of this is your alignment? How much is the tires? I'm sure you've had other tires on here.
A lot of it's alignment. I mean, when I went from, so I have these same tires on my stock competition package wheels, which are a staggered setup, and the difference in just the alignment and square wheel fitment, having that much grip up front, is what makes a massive difference.
Yeah, of course. I'm a sucker. If you couldn't tell, I'm a sucker for intake sound. That whoosh, ITV. SMG, there's a little bit of a pause, but honestly, compared to new modern DCTs, and yes, it is slower than that. You won't get that same performance out of a single clutch transmission from 20 years ago. But I think that all things considered, especially compared to like a manual, that's about as fast as you're gonna get with a manual anyway.
Yeah. I do think at the limit on track on a back road, it is faster than driving a manual car. It just is.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem with it has been just the low speed drivability. It's pretty annoying to deal with in the city. But
yeah.
Out here, honestly, I like it, and I was considering for a long time doing the swap. But I'm very hesitant because of how much faster it is on track, not having to shift all the time.
Right, of course.
It's really enjoyable on the track.
It feels just as awake now as it did riding in the passenger seat earlier this year. I mean,
Yep.
Oh my God, this is why you buy an E46 M3. The SMG, who cares? If it's sorted, the money is definitely something to consider and think about. I'm sure this is true. The parts are expensive for these.
Yep.
But
yeah.
And then I want to try the exhaust valve. So
Yeah.
you open up the exhaust valves.
Yes.
Which is, yeah, that's.
Then it's a completely different character.
Yeah. It sounds like a race car.
Yeah.
It literally sounds like a race car. It's absolutely bonkers. When we get some more open road, I'm gonna hop on it, but like, yeah, listen to that downshift. And slap a pedal and skedaddle, as they say. This is rowdy. I love this.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd love to talk about your mods and everything else, but it just...
Yeah, I mean,
it's... That's the sound. Like, that's it. Here's the car. Here's the car. Listen to it. Wow. Oh my God, dude, what? Oh my God.
That's good.
Oh.
It's tough to get tired of that.
Yeah, downshifts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shift it with this thing like a... Yeah, this car is raw, it's visceral. I cannot get enough of this car. It is just incredible. And even the E46 package, it's quiet. I love that. The E36, if you had something this loud, it just wouldn't, it'd jar your brain.
Sure,
You would just hear everything. But this, no, it's livable. I mean,
It
it's
is,
just
actually.
fantastic. So that was the driving of a Track E46 M3. I think this car is incredible. I mean, the look on my face and the sound of my voice should really set it alone. The E46 M3 just truly, it's a machine. This is the last of the analog gas car that BMW had. The S54 has got the race car sounds, the race-derived engine. And I think overall it's just a very complete package. Even the SMG trans, a lot of people kind of crap on the SMG transmissions, but I thought it was fine. I can definitely, during around town driving, felt kind of that sluggish, slow, like it's not very good at shifting feel. But outside of that, once you're moving on the track, going fast, it's about how a manual driver would shift.
Sure.
I guess some cons could be is that, you know, time has kind of had its way with it, and some places it's not as perfect as it was. They're kind of expensive to own if you don't know how to work on it, or You buy the wrong parts, whatever. It's you gotta research these, but I think that they are a very good option if this is what you want. Thank you, Steven, for
Of course.
allowing me to take this car out.
Of course.
It was fantastic.
No, it's a pleasure. It's the M car smile, right? I mean,
The M car
smile.
smile.
You gotta share it with whoever. It's fun.
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel, and I'll link it in the description down below, along with a full mod list, because there's way more to this car done that we really talked about.
Sure.
So go check that out. He's gonna upload a couple of videos with it, and he's gonna upload one talking about this car more specifically if you want to see more about the mods. But now on to our scores. In the daily score, I'd give this car a 4.5. I'd like to score it higher, but unfortunately these cars are getting up there in years and are now starting to be plagued with old car problems, such as failing sensors, vacuum lines, worn seals, and more. E46 M3s are also known for their own issues, the big three, which is rod bearing replacement, vanos, and subframe mounting point reinforcements that come at a pretty hefty cost. On the SMG cars, such as this one, the SMG parts are also very expensive if they break. But this one, even as a track car, doesn't ride too bad. When you roll the windows up, the car is pretty quiet and docile inside, earning it points back. Moving on to the weekend category, this car scores a 7.5. A strong score to set the bar for this series, but this is a strong car. E46 M3s are becoming classic cars, and the performance is still pretty good by modern standards, without being as compromising as its older brothers, the E30 and even the E36 M3. The driver's feedback is good and the car is extremely tight. Steering is on point, no dead zone, it's planted and stable in the corners. This car is really at home on the track, which is its intended purpose. It pulls well over 100 miles an hour when opened up, and it really encourages you to get it over that 8,000 RPM mark. The should you buy it category is a mixed bag. On the one hand, these cars aren't super cheap to run, but they make up for it the weekend score. I'm going to give it a 6. From a value proposition, they're still not bad, albeit more expensive than they used to be. If I had made this 4 years ago, the score would have been much higher, but they continue to appreciate and may cost even more in 5 years from now. Overall, this car is a blast to the track on back roads, and all in all is not too expensive, given 20 grand still buys you a pretty nice one. This brings our total up to 18, putting it a 1.5 below the Fiesta ST, which I find fitting. This track-inspired E46 M3 performs much better than a stock Fiesta ST, but given they cost the same and maybe even a little bit more, it's a much worse value proposition from a daily and usability standpoint. Pair that with heightened maintenance costs, and you have potential recipe for a bad ownership if you buy a poor example. That said, these cars are reasonable to work on yourself and fast even by modern standards. It will always put a smile on your face, and most importantly of all, every time you walk away from it, you'll give it a glance back as you walk away. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for future videos. Hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of this video. We have all sorts of exciting cars here all the time, and feel free to reach out to me on Instagram if you have a cool car you'd like me to do next. Always in the mood to go for a drive.